Ladies and gentlemen, when I was a wee little boy, I was walking down the streets of Chicago when a person of a different complexity on the color spectrum approached me and began mocking my choice of footwear.
Your ass got on some motherfucking state attorney steppers, boy. Them bitches look like hamster coffins.
Being the oblivious goober I was, I blurted out,
"You stupid nigga!"
and got smacked so ferociously that my style changed as a result. You might say that this story is preposterous,
Some bullshit.
and there is no way this ever happened. But then, how can you explain Fashion Police Squad? A first-person shooter that follows the story of the man who slapped me.
Back the fuck up!
Developed by Mobful Games, Fashion Police Squad might look like a boomer shooter, as visually it's very boomy boom, and the gameplay has shooty shoot, but it's more akin to match the shapes. The premise of the game is to stop crimes, specifically fashion crimes. Those being too much color, not enough color, the Russian CSGO pro hair, being Serjuh, and a plethora of others, all of which require a specific approach. Now, while this game does take place in America, there is no one solution against all crimes, meaning the American way is forfeit. This game is all about the fashion glamour theme, and I really like how everything serves it in a logical way. So, how do you deal with criminals? Well, by utilizing the appropriate tool for the job. It's not rocket science that the circle goes in the circle hole, much like it isn't rocket science that an oversized suit requires a proper readjustment, or that smoking is best resolved by an appropriate belting of the face. You could say that the circle can go in the square hole as well, which is true, but this game won't let you do that. If someone is lacking color, smacking them across the face won't do the trick. You'll have to give them a colorful blasting. And this applies to every tool at your disposal, meaning you'll have to juggle between your small but creative arsenal often. Something I'm very fond of, as it adds an element of informed reactiveness to the combat, rather than just mindless brrr. And the cherry on top is how each weapon has something to do with tailoring. Okay, well, mostly. Each criminal gets introduced with their violation displayed, allowing you to figure out the solution without too much hassle involved. And if you end up having issues, the game does provide feedback as to what works and what doesn't. There's a decent amount of criminal types that all try to stop you in their own way, be it exploding briefcases, indecent exposure, nefart, and the list goes on. Each arena will mix them nicely for an intense engagement, where you have to swiftly notice the biggest threat and take them out. Or don't. You could always start with the weakest and make your way up, if that's your thing, though you'd have to swing around the area like a monkey to avoid damage, and that could be perceived as a stereotypical portrayal. Like and subscribe if not racist. Do it now. While the doomified match the shapes flow of the game is fun, it would get quite repetitive if not for the occasional breakups that manifest in the form of a homage, a JFK simulator, and other various twists that keep things fresh and snazzy. There's a total of 15 missions, and none of them felt dragged out. The only disappointing element I could think of is the secrets, which 100% of the time are posters of the serial slapper in various garments, meaning any and all semblance of comedic relief is exclusive to the story. Shortly after slapping me all those years ago, Dez internalized that he committed a cardinal sin, and vowed to dedicate his powers for the greater good. He enlisted in the Fashion Police Squad and ensured the streets of Trendopolis remain fabulous. The game begins as any other ordinary day on the job, with a few calls about suspects, but quickly the frequency of violations becomes rampant. Something bigger must be going on, and that something is for you to discover with the help of a totally not shady dude riding on a Roomba. You'll definitely feel the story of this game, not necessarily because it's deep or thought-provoking, but because dialogue boxes will often pop up and forcefully grab your attention by freezing you in place until ended or skipped. Overall, Fashion Police Squad is a fun, short little indie gem that offers great entertainment with its overarching theme and the little details that make every element feel natural to it. And if that's not enough, there's also dead memes. Which is why the final rating for Fashion Police Squad is a fabulous out of 10. That's about it. Don't forget to slap like, slap wife, hit Serjuh, and I'll catch ya next time.